At the recording of this video, we are 6 days into the new year 2026, which means that some people are 6 days into a month-long fast from alcohol. Why do people choose January to do a fast from alcohol? Well, usually it is people who are trying to align themselves in a healthy way in the new year by combating some of the excess that was indulged upon during that time between Halloween and New Year's Day. But what are the more clinical reasons why individuals should seek out to take not just January off, but to take a fast of alcohol at any time during the year, and what some of the benefits of those reasons may be? Welcome back, friends, to Justice for All. I am Aaron Justice, and today we are going to be talking about some of the clinical reasons why people abstain from alcohol use for a month or longer, and what some of those clinical reasons, how they affect the mind and body, and reasons that, if you have never done one yourself, why you may want to consider taking upon this challenge as well. So, let's dive straight in. Reason number 1, mental clarity and emotional stability. We all know that alcohol is a depressant. And while that does not mean that alcohol automatically sends you into depression, it does mean it depresses the nervous system, the mind, emotions. Even in small amounts, alcohol subtly impacts mood, cognition, and emotional regulation. When you remove alcohol, most people notice clearer thinking, improved focus, and more emotional steadiness. Anxiety often lessens, not because life becomes easier or less stressful necessarily, but because the nervous system is no longer being pushed and pulled chemically. There's also an emotional clarity that comes from regulation. When we consume alcohol, obviously, we experience an intensification of emotional process and emotional reaction. Laughter, silliness, being loud and bombastic. But it's not only these positive emotions. We can also experience intense sadness, fear, deep pockets of loneliness and isolation, hopelessness, despair. Anyone who has ever been on a 2-3 day plus bender can attest to exactly what I'm talking about. I used to call them, as many people do, the bender blues, where those 3 days are such a blast of all of our feel-good chemicals that when we finally come down and even perhaps go through withdrawals, we notice that we're empty, meaning our feel-good chemicals are depleted. And it takes a few days to get ourselves regulated mentally and emotionally. The chemicals, there has to be a balance, a return and surplus of those chemicals that help us feel our best. So oftentimes during the bender blues, there is a lot of deep sadness, despair, feeling like, there's a pointlessness to things. So yeah, it can lead to depression, oftentimes. And so this month is a great time to establish not only mental but emotional regulation and get us back to a place where our mind is now feeding us the chemicals that it needs in order for us to operate at our best. Reason number 2, deeper, more restorative sleep. Although, yes, alcohol can make you feel sleepy, it actually disrupts REM sleep. And of course, that's the stage where emotional processing and nervous system repair happen. So during a dry January or any fasting period of alcohol, most people will experience deeper rest, even more vivid dreams, and more consistent energy throughout the following day. Better sleep, of course, means better emotional resilience. And better emotional resilience means life feels more manageable. Life feels lighter, happier, feels more steady, more control, more ease. And we like to be operating from that place, a sense of alignment as we go throughout the year. Reason number 3, nervous system regulation and reduced inflammation. Alcohol temporarily calms the nervous system. Of course, we love that feeling, when that first 1-2 drink buzz kind of sets in, it just chips away what we call the edge, right? And it's just that little bit of alleviation from the stress that has accumulated over the day, week, month, what have you. Now, although it temporarily calms the nervous system, it doesn't teach it how to feel safe, nor does it teach it how to rebound from that relaxed state in a way that's healthy. So when the effects of the alcohol wear off, the body often rebounds into a greater sense of tension and anxiety. Those of us who have had issues with alcohol, we know what the dreaded hangxiety the next day feels like and just how utterly awful it can be. Hangover anxiety. It's where that nervous system tries to rebound back, and instead it shoots up into a very heightened state, right? You often see people very jittery, very irritated. We'll even get the shakes or the trembles in the hands. This is when the body is trying to come back. Chemicals in the mind are trying to regulate and set you back to the tone at which you want to live your life. And sometimes that can take a minute. A full month without alcohol allows the nervous system to recalibrate. Inflammation reduces, digestion improves. The body remembers how to regulate itself in a healthy way without the chemical support. This is not deprivation, it's restoration. And a good restorative time period right at the beginning of the year is a way to step forward with your best foot, your most aligned self, and start getting after your goals, or just living your life day to day at its most heightened state. Reason number 4, self-awareness around habits and coping mechanisms. Dry January itself has a way of revealing the why behind the drink. Is it stress? Is it social anxiety? Is it emotional avoidance? Has it become a habit? Has the habit evolved into an addiction? When alcohol is removed, whatever it was, whatever it happened to be covering, often rises to the surface. And this is not to punish you or to punish us, to make us feel bad. No, it's to be met consciously. Now, at a later time, I'm going to go into greater detail around coping and using alcohol as a method of self-medication. For the purposes of this video, however, we're just going to say that what is alcohol to us, oftentimes, in terms of our issues? It's escapism and it's numbing. What are we trying to escape? What are we trying to numb? Oftentimes, we've been doing it so long, out of habit, out of being social, that we no longer even remember the different things. It's become a way of life. So, something that people notice all the time, usually around week 2, week 3, is that, oh, I'm having all of these different emotions come to the surface. I'm thinking about things that I haven't really considered in quite some time. And yes, this can catch people off guard and be a little rattling when you all of a sudden have these different emotions popping to the surface. But the awareness is actually incredibly empowering, because these suppressed emotions, they're having control over your thoughts and feelings and behaviors, whether you consciously realize it or not. Therefore, when we meet these suppressed emotions, when we meet these things that we have suppressed under the agent of alcohol, we can actually face them head on and begin to feel them and process them in a healthy way. This is incredibly empowering and aligning, and opens the door to healthier coping strategies and a deeper level of self-understanding, and thus the self-awareness in which you live your better days. And finally, reason number 5, living those better days I just mentioned through a sense of renewed agency, confidence, and inner authority. Completing this full month without alcohol sends a powerful message to the psyche, which states, I'm in choice, not compulsion. I'm in command, not mental emotional slavery. I have a sense of agency over myself, my mind, my heart, and my life. I'm not at the whims of whatever comes throughout the day. I actually have a say in who I am and the choices that I make. You can rebuild trust with yourself, and even trust with family and friends and coworkers. You strengthen that sense of agency in your relationships as well as your relationship with yourself. And you realize that calm, connection, and confidence don't have to come from outside of you. It begins within, and then you bring that power outside of you and begin to conduct your life accordingly with a sense of purpose, power, and heightened performance. This leads to a confidence that often carries into almost every other facet of life, and not just the end of January or whatever fasting period you're doing, but all throughout the months of the year. Dry January or any alcohol fast isn't about limiting spaces in your life. It's about creating spaces in your life. Space for clarity, space for regulation, space for deeper self-awareness, space for inner and outer growth, space for discovery, space for expansion. And if you're a few days into this journey, or even a couple of weeks into the journey, just remember to approach it gently, curiously, openly, patiently, and gracefully. And if you find yourself needing some help, I have opened up, as I do every new year, a few spots to take on new clients, and I'm very passionate about this topic, and I have a couple of slots left. So reach out, shoot me an email that's listed here on the channel. And even if you just have a couple of questions or want clarification or something of that nature, reach out. Know that you're not alone in this. We're in it together. And if you're on a journey or considering taking a month off of alcohol or a longer stretch, I certainly encourage you to do so. And I'll be doing another video following this one where we're going to get a little more personal rather than clinical, and I'm going to go through and share my own first experience and what I took from it and what my personal reasons would be going into this type of fast. So stick around, like this video, subscribe, all the things, and let's keep going. Until then, heal your heart, renew your mind, transform your life. I am Aaron Justice. See you next time. Thanks for watching.